Had a comment the other day where someone said, could you show 100 animals in one vlog? Challenge accepted. I'm going to need a set of keys. So buckle up, it's going to be a fast one. This is actually Cherry Bond, the red Ackie monitor, dwarf monitor from Australia. Then there's King Tut, the Egyptian Euromasic. What a cute little face. Of course, my girl Helen, the no-eyed albino ball python that people absolutely love. Absolutely love Flamin' Hot Cheeto, a beautiful animal and just an absolute gentleman. El Toro is the bull snake that has become strangely popular here at the Reptarium. People love coming and see him because he's so active. There's Irwin, the blue-tongued skink, and every animal here at the Reptarium has an opportunity for education. And in this case, I can talk to people about that blue tongue and how it's a defense mechanism, and they absolutely love it. Baby Kush, the croc monitor, or what they would call a tree dragon in Indonesia, getting pretty big. Gonna have to climb in this enclosure to tell you about these guys. Of course, we have my girl Ivy. Hi, Ivy. We've got Jazz, the new boy, over here, and then Ariana is chilling way over there. May not be reptiles, but these are actually part of it too. Of course, I'll stick my hand in here. These are the Gira, or what they call Dr. Fish. My cute Drogo certainly counts as one. As a matter of fact, he's so cute, he should sound as two, but no, we'll just count him as one. Love you, Drogo. My girl Perdita, she's absolutely beautiful. She's getting a little bit of a bath right now, which is amazing. What an incredibly beautiful snake. And speaking about beautiful snakes, of course, we've got Al, the Machino reticulated python. Ooh, doggy. He's beautiful, and I think he wants to eat. Certainly a couple of the most popular animals here at the Reptarium. We've got Pepper, who's a little bit spicy, and Salt, who is sweet as could be. Pickles, the Biak green tree python. Absolutely amazing. We've got Gherkin as well. He's not on display, but he's going to be coming over soon, and hopefully they'll breed and have babies later on. There's Sunfire, who's in shed right now. She's actually a beautiful reticulated python. Look at the racing stripes on her. She just gets better the bigger she gets. Tiana is the Lewis-eye hybrid that loves pets. She's absolutely adorable, and when you don't pet her, she always bobs her head. Whew, we're on 20 now, and of course we got my guy Brillo here. Absolutely amazing. Tell you what, I'm already getting tired, and we got 80 to go. Brillo, what do you think, buddy? What do you got going on? He's absolutely beautiful, and I tell you what, I love this animal. What are you doing, you silly monkey? I love this guy to death. Number 21 and 22 would be Snap right here and Pop in the back, which are black-headed pythons from Australia. With any luck, we're going to have some babies from these guys. Cupcake is the only normal boa constrictor we have here at the Reptarium, but she is an absolute beast. I mean, one of the largest boas that I've ever seen. Then we have the red iguanas. We actually have Tabasco here. He's the big male here that's absolutely gorgeous. And then Sriracha is the girl right back here. These are both het for albino, and maybe we'll get some eggs from these this coming season. Then, of course, we have this beauty right here. This is actually Jeffrey, the hypogranite Burmese python. He's getting big, and he is absolutely wonderful. We actually have 4 red-footed tortoises here. This one's climbing up to get into the water over here. And then we have 2 Sunglow albino iguanas. Of course, we've got Heinz way up there, absolutely gorgeous. And we got French's down here, the female that is more yellow. Again, one day big enough, maybe we'll produce some babies. Now, I'm not going to count all these turtles as a bunch because we have like 20-something turtles in this pond. Just going to count them as one, but these are actually red-eared sliders. We actually have some razorback musk turtles in here as well, but we'll just count them as one. And what can I say about Diddy and Dixie, the rhino iguanas that are absolutely gorgeous. Of course, we got Bella. We'll see her in a little bit, but Diddy right here, and then Dixie is up over here, and she's going to come down and say hi too. Whenever I open up the enclosure, both of them come down. They're like my little puppy dogs. How you doing, buddy? Hi, Diddy. Hi, Dixie. How are you guys today? You are absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. What wonderful little doggos. We have Nova and Lilith, the frilled dragons from Indonesia. Now, they just had a clutch of eggs the other day. Hopefully those eggs are going to hatch, and hopefully she'll have more here pretty soon. He always hangs out here. Lilith is up on the top right there. Whenever he's in breeding mode, he hangs up there. When he's not in breeding mode, he's always down here watching what we're doing. Redloath happens to be a male Dumerils boa from Madagascar. We actually have 2 Dumerils boa, but this guy is our biggest male. He's about as big as he's going to get, and he's wonderful. Marshmallow is the ivory Burmese python, which is the super form of the fire or hypo Burmese python. I love this snake, and it's getting big. It's going to be ridiculous when it's 16 or 17 foot. So we're actually going to give you a 2-for-1 here. This is actually, of course, Night Fury, the motley golden child. That's actually incredible. And of course, he's been breeding to Gemma, the ghost reticulated python, who is a little bit cantankerous when she's getting ready to be gravid. But I'm going to go ahead and put him back in because he's had a couple days away, and we'll just continue to breed her until she actually ovulates. Way to go, girl. And she seems to be in a good mood today. You're a good girl. Way to go. And this girl's getting a little bit too big. She's starting to learn how to kind of climb over the wall, which is not supposed to happen. Of course, this is Matilda, the Albert tortoise, with all her pen mates. We've got Big Mama. What are you doing, girl? You can't climb. We got Big Mama, we've got Steve, and we've got Franklin over there. When it comes to big snakes, not much is cooler than my girl Lucy here. Of course, are you in a good mood today? Hi, baby girl. Oh yeah, she's in a great mood. Yep. I could probably just pull her out. She's that cool. I love Lucy. This, of course, is Honey, the piebald ball python. One of the only ball pythons we have besides Helen over here, which is strange because I work with so many ball pythons, but pies are incredible. This is kind of a tough one, guys. Do I count this as one or two snakes? I think I'll just count it as one, but it could be counted as two. Of course, that's Ben and Jerry. We've got Peppa, the hognose snake, the cute little pug-nosed western hognose. Then there's Mango, the caiman lizard. What an interesting animal, isn't it? There's Wilma, the Woma python from Australia. Love Woma pythons, and I love black-headed pythons. We actually have a couple leopard geckos here at the Reptarium. This one happens to be Mac, the Mac Snow, and then we have a Super Snow as well. They are so absolutely cute. I love this enclosure right here. It actually has 4 green basilisks, 1 male and 3 females. These are Basiliscus plumifrons, and they are just such incredibly prehistoric looking lizards. One of our newer animal ambassadors is actually Terrence the Tegu. This is an Argentine black and white Tegu, and he is an absolute baby. Hey buddy, how are you? What you doing, silly monkey? We actually have 12 alligators, but this is Dwayne the Croc Johnson right here. So we're only gonna count him as one, and that means that we're at 50 halfway through the tour. Whoo doggy, I'm starting to get a little bit tired. Beetlejuice, the Bell's Face Lace Monitor. I mean, what else can be said other than, oh my goodness, that's a ripper. We have 2 scrubbies in here, actually Sublime and Dublin. They are absolutely beautiful bar-neck pythons. Look at this snake right there. Woo! Coming out at me. Coming in hot, starting to go opaque, so I think we're gonna go ahead and let this one go, but look at that little monkey. Absolutely ridiculous. A snake that honestly I should give a lot more love on the vlog too, because it's absolutely amazing. Of course, is Maisie the corn snake. It's just a cool animal, goes to every educational show we do, and it loves being handled. It's a ripping snake. Another enclosure that I really love is this one right here, and it actually happens to have Vietnamese mossy frogs in it. There's actually 5 of them in there. Can you count them? Looks like Carl the Emerald Tree Boa is ready for a meal. You can always tell with these guys when their head is kind of facing down and kind of pointing a little bit. He is geared up. If I had a rat right now, he would crush it right out of my hands. What an absolutely beautiful snake. One of the snakes that actually got me into reptiles when I was a kid. We have 3 giant geckos, the Leachianus from New Caledonia over here. This is actually Reptar. He's the one I take out the most, but of course we have 2 others that are hopefully going to be breeding this year. They're just amazing. Of course, the biggest gecko on the planet. We have a few species of the poison dart frogs. This is actually what they would call the powder blue. Just really cool. And of course, they call them powder blue because they have powder blue feet. I love Snaz, the normal Burmese python, mainly because, again, it's a great educational tool. We can show off some color mutations, and then we can show off a Burmese that is what it looks like in the wild, and he is a true gentleman. There's not many more special animals than Chicken Strip, the albino Nile monitor. Of course, the only albino Nile monitor that we know of that's in captivity, so hopefully one day we'll be able to breed him. I tell you, he's amazing. Of course, my very first anaconda, Verde, I still love her to death. She's starting to grow, guys. I'm telling you, anacondas take a little while to get going, but once they go, they explode. Here in another year, I bet you she'll be 6-7 foot long. To me, there's not much cuter than a big African bullfrog or a Pixocephalus aspersus. Just absolutely amazing, giant frog. This is a female, so it stays about half the size of a male. Of course, we just got this animal here not long ago. Can you see it? I love the fact that people walk by this enclosure and they literally like, is there anything in there? Well, yeah, it's right there. Of course, this is what they call a false chameleon. Our other bearded dragon, of course, is Betty White. She's a hypo leatherback whiblet and absolutely incredible. Not exactly white, but certainly a very beautiful color. This little guy here happens to be another New Caledonia species, but this is what they call a Chihuahua gecko. Absolutely great camouflage. I mean, as mossy as it gets. Then we get into a few monitors. This happens to be Santana, the Savannah monitor from Africa. Then there's Artemis Prime, the Argus monitor. Hey buddy, what are you doing? Don't bite me. You're okay, little buddy. Woo. Got to be careful with that one. We've got Grits here, the white-throated monitor from Africa. Love all of the rock monitors from Africa. They are unbelievably cool animals. Certainly one of the crowd favorites here at the Reptarium would be Joker, the scaleless Texas rat snake. Mr. Nubbins happens to be a Dominican red mountain boa. Absolutely wonderful animal for sure. Don't see these around too often, and I'm glad that we have one here. Certainly one unusual snake right here is the African egg-eating snake. These guys are so bizarre, and again, yes, they eat eggs. We've shown it on the videos before, and look at this guy. Whoo, doggy. He loves to strike. We have a Madagascan giant day gecko, the Phelsuma grandis. beautiful animal, but certainly not one that you can handle. You open this cage and it's gone. In this enclosure, we actually have the green tree monitors, or the Varanus porcinus. Absolutely incredible tree monitors. Then, of course, one absolutely amazing snake, the Boelen's python. These guys are ridiculous. I absolutely love the Boelen's pythons, and they are certainly one of the more rare pythons on the planet. This is Tiger Lily, the Brazilian rainbow boa. She actually happens to be het for hypo as well. They're just amazing animals from South America. This happens to be Vlad, of course, the legless lizard from Europe. Absolutely bizarre animal. Remember how when I used to be scared of these guys? Now I love them to death, and I think Vlad is one of the cooler animals that we actually keep here at the Reptarium. I mentioned earlier that Diddy and Dixie are my doggos. Well, Bella is my catto, right? Because she always just looks at you like, I don't think I want to get petted today. And she'll just stay up there like she's better than everyone. But I still love her to death. One of the most special animals that I've ever kept. And speaking of special animals, I mean, come on now, guys. This, of course, is Elvis, the water monitor. You guys know him. Absolutely wonderful animal. He's 4.5 years old. Gonna live another 35 plus years. Let's hope so for sure. But I tell you what, that animal is something that is truly an urban dinosaur. And another giant monitor lizard happens to be this guy here, Waffles. Of course, he's the other rock monitor that we keep from Africa, but this is a black throat monitor. And of course, you guys know that we call him Waffles because they smell like syrup, and he is crazy. Just look at the size of that tongue right there. That is an impressive animal. Another cool monitor lizard we keep, of course, is Toothless. He's the melanistic, or black dragon. Of course, just like Elvis, he's an Asian water monitor, but of course he's melanistic, making him jet black. That animal is impressive. And here he comes for some pets. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? I love the fact that he just loves to come down. He's like, hey, Dad, can I have some love? Of course you can have love. You're amazing. I think we're on number 80, which of course is Daisy, my 18 plus foot reticulated python, lavender albino, of course, sister to Lucy. But of course, we're not going to get to all the animals at the reptile zoo, but I think we've got 20 more to go. I'm peeping on Butterscotch here. Butterscotch, of course, another tiger reticulated python, the one that catches rabbits on the air. She's definitely ready for a rabbit right now. Of course, there's Chopsticks, another one of those wild animals here at the Reptarium, the two-headed red-eared slider. Absolutely amazing. Look at how cute they are. Absolutely amazing. Hey, Chopsticks, what's going on? Not much more spectacular than Karma the chameleon. Of course, the nosy bee panther chameleon. Unbelievable. Again, I've always talked about this region of nosy bee in Madagascar always stays this beautiful blue color like that. That thing is ridiculous. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the boega, or the cat-eyed snakes. This happens to be a multi-cincta, which just has all kinds of extra bands on it. Unlike the mangroves that have about half the bands, this guy is super banded and super beautiful. Luna happens to be an albino high white desert California king snake. It came over when it was just a tiny baby, and it's starting to get some size to it now, but again, it's a really great entry-level animal to someone that's maybe a little bit more afraid of holding a bigger snake. Believe it or not, this is the very first baby African fat-tailed gecko that we ever hatched this year. I've never bred them before. Of course, Jessica did all the work, but nevertheless, we bred them and we decided to bring them over here to Reptarium, and kids absolutely love them. Of course, we have a whole wall of tarantulas and arachnids. This, of course, is Black Beauty. The one that I love the best is a Brazilian black tarantula. Don't get me wrong, I love them all, but this is the girl that I take out all the time. She is absolutely spectacular. This is actually Wanda, which is the giant leaf-tailed gecko, the Uroplates fimbriatus. One of the weirdest animals. I mean, look at those eyes. Of course, they can see 300 times better than a human at night. Absolutely bizarre. I think you guys know I love white snakes. This happens to be Snowflake, the leucistic Texas rat snake. And actually, the leucistic Texas rat snakes were the first mutation of solid white snakes ever produced. Absolutely love this snake right here. This is actually what they would call a 100-flower rat snake, or a Moellendorffi. These are actually endemic to China, and just such a cool and unusual animal. Normally, these guys don't do that well in captivity. Fortunately, this is captive born, and it's actually been around for about 7 years, and I'm sure it'll live another 20. Another Chinese snake that you don't see that often, of course, are the mandarin rat snakes. One of the probably coolest naturally patterned snakes on the planet, I think. Again, captive born animals do absolutely amazing. The wild caughts do terrible. Fortunately, we've been breeding these guys for a number of years, and this animal here is absolute ripper. Potato is one of the originals here at the Reptarium. Of course, this is what they call a Centralian blue-tongued skink, or a multifasciata. These guys come from the red center of Australia, right around Alice Springs area. I've had a chance to see them in the wild, and I tell you what, these guys are rare in the United States, and I love Potato to death. This is another Uromassic, but what they call a Molly Uromassic. Now, this is about full grown right here, whereas the Egyptian Uromastyx I showed you at the beginning of this whole crazy tour can get up to 3 foot in length, so they're giants. Which, by the way, guys, you have me sweating here. This is a lot of animals to go through in a short period of time. And of course, then there's Lucky, the Amazon tree boa. Don't you bite me. Yeah, this guy's a little bit crazy. I gotta get his attention so that he's not looking at my face as food there. Don't, slow down. Of course, Lucky is an Amazon tree boa, but what they call a tiger Amazon tree boa, which is actually an incomplete dominant mutation. Peach is a Hypo-Honduran milk snake. It's a recessive mutation, and she's only about half grown. These guys can get 6+ foot. This animal, it was a dream animal of mine growing up. I never thought I would actually own one. Of course, an albino Darwin's carpet python. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. Gonna get 6 or 7 foot and just get prettier and prettier as it gets older. This is actually a chuckwalla. Again, another dream lizard of mine. I love these things. They get pretty big, and when they get big, they usually are really, really docile. So he's just a little guy here. He loves it warm. We keep his cage at about 120 degrees with the hot spot. The cool side maybe 85, but these guys love to bake under that light. These are super cool little lizards here, but if I pull them out, they're gonna bite me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just admire them from afar. Look, see how he opens his mouth? He's like, come on, bite you. These are what they call Gastropholus porcinus. Absolutely wonderful little animals. I tell you what, they're cute as could be. They look like a little monitor lizard, but they're actually not in the monitor family. I just love them to death. This is an albino Kunisur island rat snake. Again, another colubrid snake that you don't see very often. These come from an island off of Japan. Their natural color is actually green and sometimes even turquoise animals. So hopefully we'll be producing these guys this next year and have some more, not only albinos, but also some regular wild type colors. I showed you guys earlier the other mangrove type of snake that we have, the multicincta. This happens to be what they call melanota. And again, they are slightly venomous, so I don't want to get bit by this guy if I can avoid it, that's for sure. Whoa! Beautiful snake, but definitely a little bit feisty. And our 100th animal happens to be Bowser here. Now, we didn't hit a lot of animals here at the Reptarium, but we wanted to do 100 animals in as quickly amount of time. So let me know if you liked it, because I tell you, we worked our butts up to get to them. Let me know which animal you thought was the most amazing down in the comments too. Hit that like button while you're down there if you don't mind. Also, you can go ahead and hit this playlist, hit a video or two, would mean the world to me. You know what else would mean the world to me? Over here, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Have an absolutely wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to somebody, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.